You're tuning in to the Basement Integrity Podcast by Iserino. If you joined us for our previous deep dive, we talked a lot about protecting your basement from general flood damage, water being the biggest threat. Today, we're going deeper. We're looking at this specific, sort of invisible threat right under our feet, how Toronto's really old sewer system, decades old, is actually actively damaging home foundations.
That's right. And our mission today really is to explain this long-term structural weakening. It's caused by infrastructure that, well, in some spots it dates back to the early 1900s. Seriously, horse-drawn carriages era.
Wow.
Yeah, and these systems were designed for, a much smaller city and definitely not for the kind of extreme weather we see now.
It's funny, isn't it? We love Toronto's old charm, the history. But underneath, there's this aging infrastructure problem. Many sewer systems just weren't built for today's population density, modern plumbing, or these intense storms. They're overwhelmed.
Exactly. And let's unpack the system type, because that's key, especially in older areas. A lot of the network uses what's called a combined sewer system, CSO for short.
Combined, meaning?
Meaning rainwater, snowmelt, and regular sewage all go into the very same pipes.
Okay. I guess that seemed efficient back then. One set of pipes.
It was an engineering marvel, perhaps. But now think about a big downpour, say 50 millimeters of rain in an hour.
Which happens more and more.
It does. And the system is just, it can't handle it. The volume is too much.
So it backs up, like into basements.
That happens, yes, definitely a risk. But it's also about the pressure. The overloaded system forces water out, maybe through old joints, cracks in the pipes into the surrounding soil.
Okay, so it's not just back up through the drain, it's leakage around the pipes.
Precisely. The ground gets saturated far more than it naturally would. And that constant artificial dampness around your foundation, that's what slowly weakens the structural base over time.
Right, and you might not even notice it at first. It's gradual.
Very gradual.
So this must mean certain areas are more at risk, right? Depending on when they were built and what kind of pipes they have.
Absolutely. This is where it gets really specific for homeowners. When we see the worst hydrostatic pressure damage, it's often concentrated in older neighborhoods.
Like where?
Think the Beaches, High Park, Leslieville, Rosedale, parts of East York. These areas often have homes built before the city started separating the sewer systems. They're still hooked up to those old combined sewers.
And it's not just the pipes, is it? It's the ground itself, too.
Spot on. It's that 1-2 punch, old leaky pipes plus Toronto's soil.
The famous clay soil?
Exactly. Dense, clay-heavy soil. It holds water like crazy, but drains really, really slowly. So when you get heavy rain, snowmelt plus leaks from overloading pipe,
The ground just gets waterlogged.
totally saturated, and that clay expands dramatically.
Okay, so this is where hydrostatic pressure comes in. We need to think of it less like dripping water and more like...
Yeah, a huge force. Pushing sideways against your foundation walls. Your average foundation is built for the weight of the house pressing down, right? Vertical load. It's not designed for tons of constant horizontal pressure from waterlogged, expanding soil pushing in. Foundations from the 1920s, 30s, 40s, they just weren't engineered for that.
That makes sense. So the cracks you might see wouldn't just be vertical settling cracks, but maybe horizontal ones, or bowing.
That's a big red flag. Horizontal cracks, walls pushing inward. That often points directly to this kind of chronic saturation pressure. And in these vulnerable Toronto areas, the old combined sewer is often the hidden culprit working with the soil.
Okay, so if this is such a known issue and the infrastructure is so old, what's the holdup on fixing it citywide? Is it just the cost?
It's massive. Cost, complexity, the sheer scale. You're talking about digging up and replacing hundreds, maybe thousands of kilometers of pipes under a dense city.
Yeah, that sounds disruptive.
Hugely. Toronto is working on separating sewers, but the timeline, we're talking decades, maybe 30, 40 years, billions of dollars. So, for us at Iserino, we tell people waiting for the city isn't really a practical strategy if you want to protect your home now.
Right. You can't wait decades. So that brings us to what homeowners can do. We can't change the city's timeline, like you said, but we can definitely fortify our homes.
Exactly. Be proactive. Give your house the armor it needs. We focus on really 5 key defensive steps against both backup and that hydrostatic pressure from the old sewers.
Okay, let's break them down. Number 1, the big one, basement waterproofing.
Essential, especially in these older areas. Proper exterior waterproofing is best. It stops water before it even reaches the foundation wall. creates a barrier.
Like a raincoat for the foundation.
Pretty much. It reduces that constant pressure load. It's a serious long-term investment in protecting the structure. Interior systems can help manage water too, but exterior is the first line of defense against the pressure.
Got it. Okay, number 2, foundation crack repair. Seems basic, but crucial.
Absolutely crucial. Don't ignore small cracks, even tiny hairline ones. Under pressure from saturated soil or a leaking pipe, water will find those weak spots.
And make them bigger over time.
Exactly. We need to seal every single crack professionally, usually with injected epoxy or polyurethane, to stop that cycle.
Makes sense. Number 3 directly tackles the backup risk from those combined sewers. Install a backwater valve.
A must-have in Toronto, truly. It's basically a one-way gate. Lets water flow out from your house, but if the city sewer starts backing up, slam, it shuts tight.
Stops sewage from coming up your drains.
Right. And the city actually has a subsidy program for this, which helps with the cost. We help homeowners access that all the time.
Good to know. Okay, number 4, something maybe easier to tackle. Improve yard drainage.
Yes, often overlooked, but so important. Where does your roof water go? If your downspouts dump right beside the foundation or your garden slopes towards the house,
You're basically feeding the problem.
you are actively adding water to that vulnerable soil right next to your foundation. Downspouts need to extend away, at least 6 feet. And the ground, the grading, should slope away from the house. Simple physics.
Common sense, really, when you think about it.
It is.
And finally, number 5, for homes already showing signs of trouble. Foundation reinforcement.
Yeah, if that lateral pressure has already caused bowing, shifting, significant cracking, waterproofing alone might not be enough. We might need to stabilize the wall itself.
How do you do that?
Often using things like steel beams or carbon fiber straps applied to the inside of the foundation wall. It gives the wall the extra strength it needs to resist that constant push from the outside.
Right, reinforcing it against the pressure.
Exactly.
So looking at the bigger picture, climate change means heavier rain, more freeze-thaw cycles.
Yeah.
This is only going to put more strain on these old pipes and foundations, right?
Without a doubt, the stressors are increasing, which is why waiting for citywide upgrades, like we said, just isn't a viable plan for individual homeowners wanting to protect their investment.
So the message is, be proactive.
Absolutely. It's the best, really the only, defense against this decades-long infrastructure challenge. If you're in an older neighborhood or if you notice dampness, musty smells, those cracks we talked about, now is the time to act. Doing preventative work today, waterproofing, crack repair, maybe that backwater valve can literally save you hundreds of thousands down the road by preventing catastrophic failure.
It really puts it in perspective. We're asking foundations, built maybe 80, 100 years ago, next to pipes just as old, to handle 21st century weather and density. So maybe you should ask yourself, is your foundation your home's primary defense really equipped for that 100-year-old challenge? Plus today's climate, is it up to the task?
And that's where we come in. We specialize in foundation repair, waterproofing, underpinning all solutions tailored for Toronto-specific conditions, the soil, the aging infrastructure. Contact us at iCirino for a free assessment. Let us help you figure out how to best protect your home from these invisible threats lurking beneath the ground.